What's up, beautiful image bearers? It's me, CA3, and today we're continuing on in the 8th chapter of John. So verse 39 comes, and Jesus is still basically going back and forth with the Pharisees and the Sadducees. At this point, they have now called upon their lineage, their Jewish heritage of Abraham being the father of their faith. What we continue to see is him taking the things that they're turning to and turning it back on them. Because again, nothing that they were trusting in could truly save them. Only Jesus Christ himself could actually save. And even though in a lot of ways it may seem like Jesus is being, snarky or sarcastic or however we may perceive it today, Jesus was making it clear, okay, what's next on the list? All right, so I can prove to you that you're not following that properly either, or that I can find another way to continue to prove to you that I'm what you need. Jesus is telling them, look, man, your physical lineage is not enough. It's not sufficient for salvation. Essentially, Jesus is saying, look, if you were really Abraham's children, which of course Abraham in the Old Testament is promised by God that he'd be the father of many nations, right? His descendants would be, numerous like the stars in the sky. Jesus is saying, yeah, if you were really Abraham's children, if you were really part of that lineage, then you would act like Abraham did. So what Jesus is doing is he's making this point here. He's making a comparison, right? The same way children are born and then they inherit certain things from their parents. Basically, if you were really Abraham's children, you would have inherited the same things he had. Like, for instance, his commitment to faith and obedience to God. And this is the reason why Abraham has his spot in what a lot of us like to call the Faith Hall of Fame in Hebrews chapter 11. Abraham believed and it was counted unto him as righteousness. This whole time, Jesus has just been preaching a message of believe. And it's so crazy when you think about it. Jesus is giving them a quote unquote easy way, and they're still choosing the hard way instead. But before we judge the religious leaders of that day, how many of us have hardened our hearts at times or still are? How many of us have fallen so hard on church tradition where we've missed the most simple parts of our beliefs, such as faith and obedience? A lot of times we add a lot of extra things into Christianity or what it means to be a follower of Christ, but in the process we miss the main things. Once again, instead of just listening to what Jesus is trying to tell them in verse 41, they decide they want to take a jab at Jesus. So they say, oh no, we weren't born of sexual immorality. And the thing is, it's believed that what they were trying to say here is, oh no, we know who our father is, you don't. So essentially they getting smart with Jesus now because it was well known that Jesus was born of a virgin and that Joseph wasn't his real father. Essentially they talking down on Jesus like, who do you think you are to tell us who our father is when you don't even know who yours is? But once again, they miss the whole point. Jesus' miraculous birth was meant to prove the fact that God is his father. And they're so busy trying to get a zinger or, trying to clap back at Jesus that they're again missing the whole point. So verse 42, Jesus comes back and he's like, well, forget Abraham. If God were your father, you would love me. A lot of the Jewish people, knowing that they were God's chosen people, they would kind of let that go to their head at times. And what Jesus is saying here, look, you call God your father, but he's not your father spiritually. Because basically, if he were your father, then you would realize that I'm from him. And what Jesus is saying here, this whole same argument about who your father is or who your parents are, determining certain characteristics and things like that, basically, Jesus has been making it clear this entire time that in order to be a child of God, you have to love the Son. Since God is love, those who love his Son also will demonstrate his nature. It doesn't matter where you come from, okay? It doesn't matter how you grew up, how long you've been in church, because again, a lot of us, we can judge the religious leaders of Jesus' day, and at the same time, many of us possess that same entitlement at times. God sees his children equally, okay? As long as you believe in his Son, then you are a part of the family. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all today, man. Y'all be easy. God bless you. And I love you.